Oh wow. Sony? Um, what the fuck? Man, Sony has been making some fucking choices lately. I mean, you know what? Let's get right into it. We got a lot of ground to cover. I'm going to break this whole thing into 3 sections so it's all easier to digest. That and they all feed into each other, so it should all flow together nicely. Welcome to the Sony Wellness Check. Games as a service. Live service games. Free-to-play games. It's the industry's biggest cash grab right now, and for good reason. Get you a Fortnite, a GTA Online, or a Genshin Impact going, and your company will print money almost indefinitely, barring catastrophic mistakes. Obviously, each of these games are playable on multiple platforms, but what if you made one exclusive to one console? Sony made that gamble with Helldivers 2 earlier this year, and it ended up paying off. You can even cross-play with Steam users, giving you a larger pool of people to help spread managed democracy across the galaxy. Then the PSN bullshit happened. Basically, if you had Helldivers 2 on Steam, you had to link that up to a PSN account, otherwise you couldn't play in some regions. Even worse is the fact that some regions don't even allow you the option to make a PSN account. While that's scummy in its own right, you had the option to bypass it until Sony made it mandatory. The devs had no input on Sony's decision, and the Helldivers 2 community lit a fire under Sony's ass, and they eventually relented. This is all ancient history now, but it had a happy ending. Concord did get a happy ending. It didn't even get a story long enough to make an ending. Once again, I'm going to be brief, as the Concord situation has been analyzed by just about everyone. Simply put, Sony released a trailer for it back in May during their State of Play event. It looked like Temu Guardians of the Galaxy and was revealed to be a hero shooter. Okay, Overwatch 2 shit the bed, Apex and Valorant are there, and Paladins is Paladins. Maybe y'all have a shot here. As long as you have an interesting roster, everything else should fall into place. This is what they came up with. 8 years, and all they had to show for it was these ugly motherfuckers. This is just one side of the shitty Concord coin. The other side is the price tag. $40 is not bad for a AAA game, but not for a genre that has primarily gone free to play. So, they launch a beta, and it barely has players. The game comes out, and it has even fewer people playing it. So, Sony decides to pull the plug just 2 weeks after it releases. Full refunds are issued for digital copies. Physical copies may or may not be refundable depending on what store you bought it from. So in summary, a catastrophic mistake. One that cost them about $200 million and 8 years of development time. I think they're thinking about bringing it back in some way, shape, or form, but I wouldn't hold my breath, but I don't see them No Man's Skying this thing back to life. Twitter is a cesspool of shitty takes, but occasionally something pops up that boggles the mind. Case in point, people were posting links to an interview that one of the Sony executives had where he stated that, whether it's for games, films, or anime, we don't have much IP that we fostered from the beginning. We're lacking in the early phase of IP, and that's an issue for us. How? That's like Marvel and DC saying that they don't have any more superheroes to adapt. It's a fucking lie! Coming up are a list of IPs that Sony currently owns. This isn't a complete list. I left off stuff like God of War, Horizon, etc. because that's what's being pushed right now. Crash and Spyro meant multi-platform, so they're excluded too. Anyway, let's go down the list and see when the last time these IPs got a new release. The last time Twisted Metal got something was in 2012. The last time Jetmoto got something was in 1999. The last time SOCOM got something was in 2011. The last time Siphon Filter got something was in 2007. The last time Gravity Rush got something was in 2017. The last time MotorStorm got something was in 2012. The last time Cool Borders got something was in 2000, but it was Japan only. The last time Dark Cloud got something was in 2003. The last time Sly Cooper got something was in 2013. The last time Jak and Daxter got something was in 2009. The last time Ape Escape got something was in 2011. I think it was like a PlayStation Move game or some shit. The last time Infamous got something was in 2014. The last time Resistance got something was in 2012. The last time White Knight Chronicles got something was 2011 outside the United States. The last time Killzone got something was in 2013. And the last time Fat Princess got something was in 2015, which I think was the mobile puzzle game or something. I realize that some of these are out of Sony's hands. I mean, if Naughty Dog doesn't want to make Jak 4, then that's that. Plus, Sony dismantling Japan Studio kills off Ape Escape and Gravity Rush, but that still leaves you about 10 other games you could potentially work with. You bastards are wasting hundreds of millions of dollars on some bullshit when you could have used a fraction of that on any of these games and built something out of it. Thank God Astrobot is out there doing something with all these IPs that don't exist. A first-party Sony game has other Sony or Sony-adjacent IPs in it, and y'all can't make a new Legend of Dragoon? Make it make sense. This one is fresh off the presses. Sony officially unveiled one of its worst-kept secrets, the PS5 Pro. It loads faster, has better ray tracing, and AI upscaling. It's a marginally better PS5 for almost twice the price of the original one. Where the fuck do I begin? Oh. Number 1. Why is this shit so expensive? The specs are better than the base PS5, but only slightly so. When the PS4 Pro came out, it was the same price as the regular 4 was at launch, but by that time the PS4 had dropped in price, so it was a fair price for the upgrade. The regular PS5 is still going for $500 and will probably still go for that after the Pro launches. For that kind of price, maybe it comes bundled with a game or a year of PSN or maybe a DualSense Edge? Nope. So not only do you just get the system and a basic ass controller, but this thing is digital only. It doesn't come with a disc drive, so if you have disc PS4 or PS5 games, you can't play them. You can buy the disc drive separately for about $80 though if you're so inclined. Otherwise, get fucked. It being discless didn't drive down the price in the slightest. Number 2, it enhances how many games? At least a dozen or so for now, half of which are on PS4. It's an okay starting lineup, but it really exposes Sony's current problem of having very few PS5 only first party games. To be fair, it's an industry-wide problem too, as dev cycles and game budgets are getting way out of hand. But the regular PS5 is kind of a hard sell, as their library of PS5 only games is very light. No need to buy a PS5 for Armored Core when my PS4 can run it no problem. Regardless, you need a TV that can run 120Hz and or run in 8K for it to even be worth it anyway. Number 3. Sony is feeling themselves like it's 2006.
$599 US, and we're not about cutting corners to rush a product to market.
This bit Sony in the ass back then. That was a bad move on their part, and nobody has been foolish enough to make a console that expensive ever again. Well, until today, $599 US was the threshold for the last 20 years. That price was atrocious back then, but to charge $100 extra on it now in a post-pandemic inflation-ass 2024, you gotta be out your fucking mind. The PS5 in general has been a roller coaster of experiences. You couldn't easily buy one for the first 2 years it got released. Almost all the new games coming out for it were playable on the PS4. It takes longer for games to come out for it now. Almost all the accessories are overpriced and lacking in key areas. They also fucked with PSN this year too, and nobody is trying to compete with them. Nintendo is off doing its own thing. Xbox is too busy speedrunning shitty business decisions that I would be extremely surprised if they end up making another Xbox after this one. Do yourself a favor, unless you are the hardest of the hardcore, don't buy this shit. If you want a PS5, just get the normal one. Honestly, if you are willing to spend that kind of money, you could get the most powerful Steam Deck on the market. Or hell, buy a PC. Either one would be a better investment. Gosh, from burning money to leaving money on the table to straight up highway robbery, Sony has done it all this year. Eventually, the regular PS5 will be discounted and later on down the line, the Pro will be, but what shape will Sony be in at that point?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.